Hey friends, welcome back. I have an update for you on the backyard progress. We are spray painting outlines. I have some infrastructure stuff that I've been working on. I actually need to harvest some seeds because the crew is gonna walk right down that area and we're gonna do a little shopping because it's all coming together. Friends, welcome to fun update number 1. If you missed the last video, I drove to Portland for a greenhouse. Yes, I'm caving. And what's so funny is I think for the longest time I thought, oh, greenhouses are super fancy. I can't spend money on that. But at the end of the day, it's so integral to my work in this world. And turns out this patio that we were gonna have reset, I was actually gonna reset it a little bit bigger because I always thought this was such an odd shape. Well, guess what it's the perfect size for? Literally the greenhouse I'm looking at. It is crazy. It is uncanny. And so this area, what's really cool, and the reason Brian is up there looking down, is right behind Brian is the window that I look out every morning when I make my coffee. And I'm just imagining how, like, it's getting me emotional. I'm just imagining how amazing I literally get to start every morning looking at my plants. And so literally you could look out the window and look right down into the greenhouse that will be situated right here, which is just like so fun. Now, a couple different things that we've talked through with our contractor. This area, for whatever reason, they dug it down. And that's not actually what you should do. You shouldn't be digging subterranean at your foundation. So we are going to build this pad up to meet the grade. I know why they did it. I think they did it because they wanted this area out here to be level with the ground, but it's just not a good situation. So instead what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna build a small, probably like a single run of block down there to raise this edge up and then put my compact base directly on top of the foundation where these pavers were. I will explain more as the process goes along. We're spinning you around the other direction. Brian was just right up there looking down on the location for the new greenhouse. Okay, I left y'all hanging in the last video. But I was really like, this is a big emotional experience for me. This is a big purchase. This is a dream purchase for me. I think that is maybe the bigger thing, is this seemed like a dream that was so far away and now it's right here. And you guys, it's a lot. So what I decided was I'm actually ordering a new one. Okay, this is crazy. So I originally went down to look at the Classique. I will insert a picture. It is lovely and it is gorgeous. But when I sat with it, I felt like it might have been too ornate in comparison to our really simple house. And I needed a bit more modernity to it, I thought. If you are in the area, even in the Northwest in general, Gerard, you can contact him. I will leave his Instagram in the description below. He's really great at DMs. So what I decided to do is I am going with a lamb's greenhouse, and the model I'm choosing is the Supra. And I am getting it in the olive green. It's one of my favorite colors in the garden. I love it. It felt like when I was standing in the Supra that they had there, it felt like home. It felt like my greenhouse. It's a tiny bit wider. It is still 12 feet long, and it just had everything I needed. Also, the window panels were a little bit wider, so it has a bit more of unobstructed light filtering in. I've decided that I do still want the crest along the top, and then I was able to customize it with 2 automated opening vents on the roof. And then I chose to have 4 windows, 2 on each side, so we get really beautiful breeze coming through in the summertime. I also went with a sliding door. Okay, here's the other thing. Even if I bring, I feel like I have to duck under this. Even if I bring up this area of the patio space, which I'm going to be doing, I still may have to finagle the slope behind me. And so the Supra, it comes with a sliding door. So instead of having an outward swinging door that could potentially get stuck as the grade rises to meet the house, it simply is going to slide back and forth. So it's really, really space efficient and lovely. Greenhouses or glass houses can be used for a lot of different purposes. I've seen some incredible like outdoor living areas where you really get to soak in that sun in the middle of winter. For me and my purposes, mine is going to be a very functional greenhouse, but I still need it to be that aesthetic design that I love. So I'll take you along on that process in terms of how I am setting up my personal greenhouse to be used as a proper functional working greenhouse. Next update, it's a giant hole in the ground. Congratulations. This was the old site of our oil tank. And we made the conscious decision to get off of oil heating. It's actually diesel. And when we did some exploration down here, what we discovered is that our oil tank is actually 3 feet down, which is amazing. So it means it's not a problem to put a pathway over it. I no longer have a giant fill cap here, and it just cleans up so much of this space. And so this is something to keep in mind if you're having a construction or a landscape project done. Is there anything that needs to be done while you have the area exposed, such as decommissioning an oil tank? I have run into projects where we ended up excavating an old water line that needed a replacement. So just kind of think like, what are my utilities in the way, and do I need to address them right now while my entire garden is torn the heck? So here's what we did. Last week, the crew came and they actually pumped out all remaining diesel in the tank. And they had their truck out front, and it was actually really cool. They pumped it out into a reserve tank there, and we were actually able to donate this. So in the winter heating months, when it's really cold and maybe someone can't pay their bill or they're running out of oil, an emergency situation comes up, our oil that was left in this tank will go to a family in need. And so that made Brian and I feel really, really good about that part of the transition, because we didn't want to just like have all this oil. I don't even know what they would do with it. Anyways, so that was step one. They pump it and then they triple rinse it. Next, the crew came back this morning and they've filled it with a substance. It's like a foam that will actually fill up the entire cavity of that giant oil tank. So it's clean, it's filled, it's not going to compact, nothing can get in there. And now it's ready for our project to begin. One of the other things about having oil heating is we had this giant vent. You can see it went all the way up there, and it was kind of where it like off gassed. Listen, I'm a landscaper, I am not an oil tech, but we had this giant thing that was up against our house. And so we were able to actually remove it. And the next step is, this is where it dove into the ground. So you can see some of that fill, that foam right here. And so the next step that we have to do is Brian and I, either the two of us or the crew, we're gonna trench all the way back to our oil tank here, and we're gonna cut this pipe at the oil tank. We just don't need it. It's in the way. And so that's another thing we're taking into consideration. Also, we do have a drainage clean out right here. So this is another thing that is very common. You'll see it a lot. This is actually just plastic. It's just a PVC pipe, like a really large one. And so what we're gonna do is, you can see the reason I sprayed my outline for the new greenhouse is because I wanted to know if it would clear this. Well, I think what I'm actually gonna do is I'm going to have the crew dig down, cut it, and then move my clean out ever so slightly so that I can put it in a more discreet location. So that's the other thing that's on our radar. Welcome to the row of sweet peas. As you can see, I have some sweet peas missing, and it's because what I'm doing is I'm actually going through each row and I'm saving seeds to give away to family and friends, and also for me to have for next year. And because the crew is probably going to access this area with most of like the lumber and the materials for the new studio, I decided, let's just clean this out. So what I've done is I went back through my videos and I actually made a list of my favorites. And essentially what I'm going to do today is I'm going to bag up a bunch of the sweet pea seeds that are ripe and ready to be picked. And so let me bring you in a little bit closer because I want to show you how you know that they're ripe and they're ready. So let me show you this one. This is a pod that isn't ready. I know it's not ready for a couple reasons. First, there's still quite a bit of green in the pod. The other thing, I can actually feel the moisture with my fingertips, both like actual moisture, and then also there's a lot of flexibility still to this pod. So this is one that I'm gonna leave on the plant for a couple more days just to make sure it ripens fully because I'm only gonna pick them when they're fully dried. Now, 2 other notes. Let's see if I can find a deformed one. Okay, first note is this. If you have a sweet pea like this, it's kind of a deformed little pod, and there's only one sweet pea in there, and it might actually be either malformed or super, super tiny. For me and my garden, I am not going to save this seed. I am just going to pass on it and throw it into the compost. Really, when I'm saving seed, I don't want any pods that are like slightly funky like that because you don't really get like a nice strong seed out of it. I only want to save seeds from like the big kahunas, the beautiful, perfect seed pods. That's just how I like to save seed in my garden because I feel like when you're saving seed, you're choosing the parent, which in turn helps determine what the new baby for next year is going to look like. Final note, Brian was helping me just now and he touched this seed pod and it literally exploded open. So sometimes this happens. If you don't catch it, it will blow open and curl even more fully. And then it's like shooting plant babies out of a cannon. They just go everywhere. So anyways, ideally we're getting them before they turn into these cute little spirals. One little pea in there. So I have had quite a good sweet pea harvest so far. I mean, like, we have a lot of sweet pea seeds in here, which is so much fun. And I decided I was just gonna kind of save seeds from everything. And I keep these bags on hand because not all of my sweet pea seeds are maturing at the same rate. And so I just keep these in a little bucket. And when I go out there, I harvest a few more and bring them back inside. Now I know I'm not gonna plant 2,000 sweet peas next year, although that would be super impressive. Probably I'll keep a few for myself and then give the rest away as gifts to friends and family. Well, hello friends. Welcome to the site of the new garden studio. When I was going through the shopping process for this, I went to Home Depot, I went to Lowe's, I went to the actual Tough Shed people thinking, oh, well, maybe I can just find something that's gonna work. I found something pretty good. I took it to my contractor, Elias, and he was like, Kate, why am I not building you a custom shed? And I guess I just like didn't even think about it. And his bid actually was just only a smidge higher than like a standard Tough Shed, but I know the quality of his work is going to be exceptional because everything he does is exceptional. And also it means I get to choose all of like the features and the size. So anyways, we had this conversation and the one thing I came away with was a homework assignment. Elias basically said, I need you to pick out windows and doors immediately so that I know what I'm framing in and we can get those established. So all that to say, we need to do some shopping today. So we are starting the door journey at Frank's Lumber up in Shoreline, but we saw a sign that said, this way to the Barn of Bargains. So obviously we're going this way to the Barn of Bargains first. So let's take a look. Ooh, it's a whole barn. we struck out at the discount bargain barn, but I was online and they had this one door, and I think it must have been one of those things where somebody else ordered it and brought it back, but it's exactly what I'm looking for. I wanted an out swing because I think for security purposes, it's better. It's less likely that someone can like kick it in. And it also comes with a water barrier, which, hello, Seattle, it's perfect. You guys, I'm standing in the busiest hallway of life right now, but I just texted this to my contractor. I think it's gonna fit perfectly. It lets all of the beautiful natural light in. I can see my garden beyond it. We can bring in like big desks or tables or projects that we're working on. And also it's a deal because I think somebody ordered this and then it just didn't work out. And so the fact that it's pre-hung, it's ready to go, I think this is it. So I'm gonna take the little deal up to the front and see how it nets out. I am in a state of shock. The dear Lord would like me to have a studio in my backyard. That door that we were looking at that was already on sale, I like can't even talk right now. That was like a 1,700. It's an additional 50% off. I can't even talk. I can't even, okay, I'm having a hard time with my words right now because I'm really excited, but that door was $1,782 and it was an additional 50% off. I'm like shaking. It's literally the exact thing I want for my shed. I want to cry, and here it is for half off. The universe wants me to have a studio. So it's like, there's something wild going on, but I am here for it. And I hope you are too. I want to give a thank you shout out to Sasha at Frank's because she was amazing to work with. It was everything you want in a sales experience. So Sasha, if you are watching, I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you for being part of this journey. Well, I am still floating on cloud 9 after my door purchase. I can't believe I found the perfect doors on sale and then on sale again. I don't even know what to say about this renovation other than it is starting off just beautifully, magically, like the stars are aligning. Anyways, all that to say, we've got the crew arriving, I think Thursday or Friday, and they're gonna do a massive demo. So you better believe some demo videos are coming up soon. Oh, and also I just talked to Gerard and he mentioned that the brown glass house that I went in, that really sweet, like I think they call it the Mirabelle. It's so cute. Or maybe it's the Mirabelle. Anyways, the brown one is on sale, as well as this tiny little urban one. It is way cute. It's about 5 feet by 5 feet. This is the perfect greenhouse for a townhouse, for an urban space. It's adorable. I'll leave links to Versailles Garden in the description below. And honestly, I'm not paid by them. I'm paying for my greenhouse myself, but I just really, really appreciate and enjoy Gerard as a fellow business owner. And so I like to send business his way. Okay, I'm gonna see you in the next one. And in the meantime, say hello to your garden for me.